Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorial brought to you by Adobe Photoshop Elements Independent Tutorials Group, and let's jump right in. Today's poster has the Seattle Space Needle, and they want to change the background here. So that shouldn't be too hard using the magic tool. You want to set it to a low tolerance. Here we set it at 15% down here. And what we're going to do is we'll zoom in a little bit so we can see what's happening here. If you hold Shift when you're clicking, and you can choose different parts. Like at 15%, it's obviously not going to pick the whole picture because you can see it goes from light to dark down here. We're just looking at the background sky. So let's go ahead and start at the top here. We'll click once, and you can see where it's picked out part of everything but left the rest of it. So I'm going to hold Shift and click down here, and now it chooses more. I'm going to hold Shift, click, and it chooses more. I get some of this stuff here. And we're going to scroll down a little bit and choose a little bit more. You can see it's got some of the needle here, so that's not working very well. If I hit delete, you can see it's cutting out at some of the space needle here of the base. So that's not going to work. So I'm going to undo that, and it brought us back to the previous selection. I think that'll work for at least the top half. So I'm going to hit delete, and there we go. That's a little better. Now let's try to get some of this innards in here. I don't know if 15% is good. It looks good. Delete that. Go to this one. Delete that. Go to this one. It's sort of working. This one's good. I'll try to get in between this staircase here so that shows through. And you see I'm clicking each one so that I don't get the oops, that didn't work. The horizontal part of these bars. So I'm going to lessen this to 10%, and hopefully it's just going to grab just a little minute parts of what we want. Portions like this down here, you can see it's like not the best. So I'm going to actually grab the lasso and go to polygon. I can zoom in here and just do this by hand. Boom, and delete that. Boom. Now we can probably draw this part out because it's so close the base to the sky. So I'm going to take an eraser. We'll get a soft edge right there and make it like something like 5 point. And that looks good. I go Shift click to erase the portions that I want in straight lines. And once we get past this middle part, I think the rest of it's going to be easier. So I'm going to take a chunk to sharpen the edges here out of my selection, because remember we use the soft edge. The reason we use the soft edge is because the real photo would be actually soft. That's the good news. The bad news is that when using the magic tool, it might want to try to grab it, but see, it's okay. We're good without grabbing that. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and hit delete. Grab some here. Delete. So next is to check for scragglers. The way I do that would be to make a new layer, bring it to the back, and pick a different color that's really different from everything else. I'll just do like a red, and I'm going to take the paint bucket and paint it all red. Now we can zoom in and see all the scragglers. Come back to our layer that we want, grab an eraser with a nice big solid head, not a soft brush. So we want a solid brush, and then make it nice and big, like, I don't know, 50 point maybe. See that? And I could just sit and boom, boom, just erase the scragglers. If it gets too close down in here, I'll make the brush smaller if I have to. So the trick here is to find a sky that is at the same angle as the picture is from the Space Needle. So this is like from the ground looking up to the sky with the background being further away. So you want to find a good picture that simulates that. So I came up with these two choices for the background. And there's one here, clouds. with the mountains sort of a little bit in the picture, and that's because there are some mountains in the beyond where Mount Rainier is. Here's another one here. It's got a couple little mountains. Now when you throw in the foreground picture of Seattle Needle, you can see like this one looks pretty good, but the color's a little off. It's too dark here, so I'm wondering if we actually can take this foreground and go to Enhance, and we're going to go to Brightness and make it a little bit brighter. And maybe a little less contrasty. Right around there. This is before, afterwards, before, after. I think I like that. But the background is still a little bit on the light side. So let's go ahead and choose the other background. This one looks nice. What you're really looking for is that the picture in the background looks like it was taken of the same angle of the sky. This looks like somebody was standing somewhere, you know, in the middle of a mountain and pointing their camera up in the sky. And that's what you want. You don't want a picture sideways, like if it was like in an airplane and the clouds are right next to you. So this is the same angle as the picture was taken from the same angle of the Seattle Needle. And I like this. So we're going to stick with this one and call it a day. This is Rich Calling It Quits saying over and out.